Yo, yo, what's up, everyone? This is Left Unsaid, doing another Bopbattle breakdown. I'm going to try to keep this one shorter instead of having me ramble on for an hour. Luckily, this is a lighter project. I only made this in like a couple hours or so, just last minute. Didn't want to miss out on this week's Bopbattle, so yeah, let's just dive right into it. The track starts off with just the raw sample from Carmack right here. I used the second segment of the loop here. I pitched it down 2, warped it a little bit, put it at like a house tempo. It's at 126, as you can see. So yeah, it starts with that. And then let's extend this loop. I found some like old school rave vocals on Splice and just kind of toss it in, just to kind of add some transition and subtle vocal touch. So I just kind of chopped up and then stretched the last part with like some reverb automation here. Just like some Decapitator Zorbus, which is an awesome chorus preset. Then my mixing rack, kind of filtering it out as it goes down. And then the reverb throwback here. And then yeah, I use the sample again, but I have it down here in like the drop synth group. A little more processing, kind of switch it up a bit. Kind of like more like vocoded robotic sound. It's like Cashmere vocal one shot that I threw some delay on. And then the break down here, just some break loop. Yeah, I mean, the inspiration behind this whole tune was I heard a couple of good like drum and bass, drum feel songs that were like at a house tempo recently, like some kind of breakbeat, old school house. And I never really messed with that, so I wanted to give it a shot. That's like my favorite part about the bop battles is like taking a sample and then trying something musically that I don't really mess with much. So that was the idea. And then this vocal comes back in here for the build. And I just like chopped it up into 16th notes here. And then it kind of carries, the vocal tone carries throughout the drop here. But the main thing I want to go over is how I messed with the sample to make it the main lead. This is the main lead here. If I take off all the stuff, it's just the sample, you know, just plain and simple. But the cool part about it was, I'll kind of go one by one. It's probably the best way to explain it. So I just cut out some of the lows here, and keeping track of the key, I always use my EQ to make sure it's in key when I'm pitching stuff around. And then just kind of a shark fin EQ or a LFO tool, doing an 8th note pulse. And I have this automated, you can see the automation here. It's just some triplet rhythm. Multi-bend compression, pushing it a little bit harder. And then here's the sauce right here. I want to talk about this. This is, if you guys haven't tried this, this is really cool. I know there's like that melodic rhythm or like the color-based stuff that's really popular right now. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, but I like the technique of like using a signal and then routing the signal to the sound using a vocoder, and then messing with your bandwidth and range and, you know, different parameters, depth, performance to kind of get a more interesting tone. But if I turn this rack on here, I have it set to external, and then it's coming from this, which is the signal, and this is a like super saw preset that I use a lot from Splice, probably, I think. But it's super basic, just 8 and 16 voice saw, a little bit of detune wobbling with this LFO here. But it sounds like this. Just like super ravey sounding. Yeah, that's the signal that's getting routed to this. So really this is the same note as you've heard. It like pitches down 2 semitones, I think, over the course of the sample. But with this rack on, it's doing that at about, 30%, and then the rest is, the 71% is this super saw melody that's kind of countering going down. It said it's going up, so. And obviously that's kind of a disaster and a mess, so one more LFO tool to clean it up. And I thought that was sick. That sounds like, I don't know what that sounds like, but it's definitely interesting. On this rack I also have this like kind of, tonal delay, or just like kind of shifting the sound 24 milliseconds, 50%, a little bit of feedback, some OTT, just like 20%, and then my new bass rack prototype that I'm trying out, kind of just pushing it a lot. Without this, it just really pushes that. Reverb's turned off, and then just some more low cut. After that, I got a soothe, glue compressor, just kind of, keep pushing it. It's the drop sound, so it's really the only thing playing besides the sub and the drums, so it's got to be loud. And then just one more EQ. And that's pretty much the drop. I have some more background elements and fills. Kind of the vocal tone, it kind of pairs well with this. Just filling space. We got some, what is it, some somatics white noise. Just weird fill samples here. Some of them I made, some of them I found or messed with. And obviously this group here is like the main sound, along with the drop synths. Like this whole group has no sub. While this group has all the sub down here. It's kind of like, I really love like crunchy, kind of neuro-y bass fills. This one I made a while ago, it's in my sample pack. And then same with these, made these as well. This one's like supposed to be double timed. Use this one a good bit. And then just an FN sub sample. This guy makes really top-notch subs, so. And that's kind of just following the lead pattern there. And the next is just the fun breakbeat drums. I just took a kick, like a drum and bass snare, some offbeat snares, and it's a drum and bass pattern, just slowed down to 126. As you can see, I use these like drum and bass breaks. This one's on like a repitch mode, so it's kind of, gives that kind of vintage break feel. Super standard DMB rhythm. Matzo loop all together. Another Hope Roller Amen break. Classic stuff. And then it kind of just filters out here with some automation, reverb throw, and then an auto pan. I just then cuts, and then you get the chord swell, and it comes back. And I like this vocal sample too. I don't know, this is from a Chi sample? I don't know. I just like chopped and screwed it, stretched it around, cut it up. The usual, yeah. So that's pretty much my bop. Like I said, I made this in just a couple hours. I didn't have too much time. I wish I could have fleshed it out a little bit, but since we only get a minute, it's kind of nice to have those time constraints, honestly. Gets you to not overthink shit, And a lot of people hit me up about the mastering, but it's pretty straightforward. Like, this was just a last-minute touch. This isn't even necessary. It's just kind of used to fill out some of the space. And then just a clipper going 1 dB Pro L. That's it. Nothing crazy. I always do this high-pass mid-side EQ around 200, 250 somewhere. And I mix quiet. All my groups are down 10, so that way that's what it would sound like without. That's kind of how I level. Like, I want to make sure my drums and my main sounds are louder than everything else, so when it gets pushed, it's exactly where I want it to be. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys got any questions, definitely hit me up. Or if you want any sounds, hit me up as well. Yeah, the main selling point, I think, is trying out this vocoder rack. So feel free to copy these settings, mess around with what you're going to route into it. You can even do chords. Like here, I'll try that real quick. So I just solo this. I'm pretty sure I made this in D minor, so if I did, I have a D minor chord here. And that kind of adds a little more depth to it. You don't always want chords, sometimes one note will work, but. Or you could do like a 7. Mess around with it. It's fun to make, saw stacks with this being a layer. Or, yeah, just mess around with anything. You can put any kind of sound as the carrier and any kind of sound as, the return, and it'll probably sound pretty cool. You do kind of get that like squelchy vocoder sound, but using LFO tools and utility to tighten it up will definitely make it cleaner. So yeah, hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys in the chat. Later.